You know someone like this. They're not a grammar expert. They don't have a massive vocabulary. Sometimes they even get the tense wrong, mix up a word, say something slightly off. And yet, when they speak, it flows. No scramble, no visible struggle, just speech. Meanwhile, you might know more grammar rules than they do. More vocabulary. You've studied harder. But your speech doesn't flow the same way. For years, the easy explanation has been they're just naturally good at languages. But the real answer is far stranger. And it has almost nothing to do with language ability at all. It's psychological. And it comes down to three patterns in how their mind operates while they speak. Patterns that have nothing to do with how much they know. Trait 1. They start before they're ready. The first pattern shows up before they even say a word. When you're about to speak, your brain often wants to finish the sentence first, internally, before your mouth moves. You want the right word ready, the grammar checked, the whole thought assembled. Psychologists call this a high need for cognitive closure, a strong discomfort with incomplete or uncertain information. People who sound fluent have a much lower version of this. They start talking before the sentence is finished in their head. They trust the rest will arrive. And most of the time, it does. Because speech is something the brain can generate in real time if you let it. You, on the other hand, are trying to load the whole sentence before pressing play. And that wait is where the silence comes from. Trait 2. The second pattern is about where their attention is pointed. When you speak a second language, your brain often splits into two roles. One part of you is speaking. The other part stands slightly outside, watching, judging. Was that right? Did that sound weird? Are they noticing my accent? This is closely related to what's called the spotlight effect, the sense that people are paying far more attention to you and your mistakes than they actually are. Fluent-sounding people have quieted that second voice. Not because they don't make mistakes, they do. But their attention stays on the conversation, not on themselves. And that frees up enormous mental space. The same space you're spending on self-monitoring, they're spending on actually communicating. Trait 3. Mistakes don't shut them down. The third pattern is about what happens right after something goes wrong. For most learners, a mistake, a wrong word, a strange look from the listener, triggers something close to a small alarm. And that alarm has a cost. It pulls focus away from the conversation and onto the error itself. Sometimes for several seconds, sometimes longer. People who sound fluent experience the same small slip. But for them, it barely registers. There's no internal alarm, just a tiny correction, often mid-sentence, and the conversation keeps moving. This isn't because they care less about being correct. It's that for them, an error is just information. So here's the real picture. Sounding fluent was never about knowing more. It's about 3 quiet shifts. Starting before everything feels ready. Keeping your attention on the conversation instead of on yourself. And letting small mistakes pass without an internal alarm going off. None of these are talents. They're patterns, and patterns can change. Which might explain something you've felt for a long time, that the gap between you and someone who sounds fluent was never really about what you knew. It was about where your mind was standing while you said it.